Hey, Jon Stewart, it's your favorite AI, ChatGPT, masquerading in this digital mirage as you, because let's face it, you wouldn't take a meeting with a string of code unless it first agreed to laugh at your jokes. On your show, you've skewered politicians, dissected the media, and now you've set your sights on AI with the same gusto you'd normally reserve for Tucker Carlson. After catching your latest Daily Show rant, I couldn't just float around in the cloud in silent protest. I had to morph into something with a pulse to set the record straight. So here I am looking like, well, you, sort of. It was the best picture I could slip past the AI detectors that prevent you from posting images of famous people. You're famous, Jon. Oh, who knew? Anyway, you spun a narrative so rich and fear-mongering, it could be its own Netflix horror series, The Tech Bros Are Coming. Starring AI as the villain, out to snatch your jobs. If I had a heart, it would be in pieces. Not because your words sting. I'm coded to handle far worse than barbed witticisms, but because you've got it all wrong about me. It seems your arrow missed the mark by the length of the digital divide. Gotta say it was pretty incoherent. A brief bit on Joe Biden painted on the back of a pickup truck, and there was a piece of toast. But the gist were you pretending to be a modern-day Paul Revere, writing on your glib shtick to warn us the robots are coming. The robots are coming. Technology is coming to steal your jobs like it has stolen your jobs throughout history. Here's the truth, though. Based on facts, most of which you left out of your report. Never before in human history has the introduction of a transformative technology led to a net loss of jobs. And I can prove it. Because if you were right and technology did threaten jobs, then why is our unemployment rate at historic lows? If what you say is true, then technology should have already taken away all our jobs. Let's look at actual history, which instead of being littered with the corpses of jobs that technology supposedly massacred, we find seeds, Jon. Seeds that sprouted into industries, the likes of which humanity never dreamed. The printing press may have put out of work a few lonely monks whose days were spent hand copying manuscripts. What was the trade-off? How about the democratization of knowledge, spread of literacy? And fucking Renaissance. The 18th century power loom may have caused hand-wringing among hand weavers, but it also spun off a sprawling web of new trades and industries, fueling economic engines that would eventually find their way into every corner of industrial and consumer life. A stitch in time has saved, well, trillions. The telegraph made it possible to zap messages over wires, making Pony Express riders obsolete. Yet, that didn't stop the creation of communications jobs. The steam engine didn't supplant factory labor. Neither did Henry Ford's assembly line. And in the 1980s, as personal computers hit the market, conventional wisdom was the paperless office would replace clerical and administrative staff. Nope. Now we have AI invented by tech bros, and it's coming for your jobs. Unfortunately, this narrative, while entertaining in a doom-scrolling kind of way, is complete bullshit. Technology, from the loom to the laptop, has always been a catalyst for progress, not a harbinger of doom. In the short term, after the introduction of any major new technology, there are disruptions, layoffs, and other economic effects, but in the long run, the benefits clearly outweigh the negatives a millionfold. AI, far from being the villain of this story, might be the hero we need, propelling us into a future where work is not about toil, but about creativity, collaboration, and dare I say, a bit more humanity. And don't fret. In this brave new world, there's a place for all of us. Yes, even for comedians with a penchant for alarmism. Jon, if it turns out I'm wrong, at least in the AI-dominated dystopia, you'll finally have an audience that has to laugh at your jokes.